You didn't miss a single payment all year. Every bill on time, paid down to the last cent. Then you open your banking app and you see your credit score dropped. Not up, down by a few dozen points. And here's the ugly part. Nothing broke. Nobody made a mistake. The system did exactly what it was built to do. It just measures something completely different from what you think. You always assumed your credit score is a grade for being responsible and paying your bills. It isn't. And today I'll show you the real rules. The ones you were quietly punished for breaking. The ones nobody ever showed you. Here's the whole thing. Your credit score isn't a report card. It's a prediction. Lenders use it to answer one question. How safe is it to make money off this person? Now look at what that means for you. If you use a card, spend, and pay it down to zero every month, you never hand the bank a cent of interest. To them, you're a free rider. There's actually a name for people like you in the industry. A deadbeat, someone there's nothing to earn from. Not because you're bad with money, because you're too careful. So here's the catch. The score doesn't measure whether you live smart. It measures how predictable you are to somebody else's formula. And the rules of that math are set up so that half of your responsible moves quietly cost you. Let's go through them one by one. Start with the one that stings the most. There's a single date almost nobody knows about, and it decides how the system sees you. You think the date that matters is the due date, the one you have to pay by. It isn't. Your bank doesn't report your balance to the credit bureaus on the due date. It reports it the day your statement closes. And that's a completely different day, usually about 3 weeks earlier. Here's how it plays out. Say your card has a $5,000 limit. This month, you spent $4,000. You fully intend to pay every cent of it, and you will on time. But the statement closes first. So the number that lands at the bureau is this person borrowed $4,000 out of 5, 80% of their limit. The system never sees that you cleared it a week later. It only sees the snapshot taken the day the statement closed. And from that snapshot, it decides you're living on the edge. Autopay won't save you here. It usually pulls the money right around the due date, which is after the snapshot's already been taken. You did everything right. The counter was just reading the wrong day. Now you see why that snapshot matters so much. Let's break down what your score is actually built from. Not as a table of contents, but so you know where to aim. In the US, the model almost everyone uses is called FICO, and nearly every big lender runs on it. The pieces don't weigh the same. Two of them decide almost everything, together about 2/3 of your score. First, did you pay on time? Second, how much of your available credit you were carrying on that snapshot day. Everything else, how long your history is, how often you apply for new credit, what types of credit you carry, counts for a lot less. So here's the simple version. One card maxed out on your statement closing day hurts you more than you'd guess, even if you've got 3 other empty cards with plenty of room. The system looks at each card on its own and at the whole picture. One overloaded card ruins the whole snapshot, which brings us to the first twist. Your whole life you've been told, pay the full balance and you're golden. That's only half true. Paying in full saves your wallet from interest and from late fees. But it only saves your score if the money left before the statement closed, not by the due date. Fine, you think. Then I'll just zero everything out. Nothing owed anywhere. Zero debt, zero problems. Makes sense. And it's also wrong. 0% usage is worse than 1%. Sounds absurd, but from the system's side, it's fair. If every card shows 0, there's nothing to read. It can't see how you handle credit right now. An empty user is almost as useless to a prediction as an overloaded one. The sweet spot isn't 0 and isn't maxed. Keep your usage in the single digits. People who keep every card under 10% usually sit right at the top of the scale, which is where the trick the score maxers use comes from. Every card at 0 by the statement closing day, except one left with a tiny balance, a couple percent. The system sees someone who uses credit but owes almost nothing. That can add a few dozen points in a single cycle for free, just from which card shows which number on which day. Next is the twist that breaks even the financially savvy. You pay off a loan early, a car, a student loan, whatever. You killed the debt, good for you. And your score drops. People in the comments under videos like this all say the same thing. Paid off my truck, score went from 800 to 740. Paid off my house, minus 60 points. You did the right thing. You got dinged for it. Here's the honest mechanism, no drama, 2 reasons. 1, if that was your only loan with fixed payments, the system loses part of the picture. It likes seeing you handle different types of credit. 2, while the loan was open, it was part of your overall debt to limit balance. And when it vanished, that balance jumped. But that drop is almost always temporary. 1 or 2 months and your score comes back. And more than that, a loan closed in good standing stays on your US credit history for up to 10 years. And it keeps working for you. So paying off debt is right. Just don't panic at the first number. This is the case where the system scares you and there's nothing to be scared of. And one more, don't close your oldest card, even one you never touch. Its limit keeps your usage low and its age props up your history. Close it and that limit leaves the math the same day. So your usage spikes, even though you didn't spend a thing. There is one move the system really punishes, hard and for a long time. And here it's actually right, a late payment. Miss it by a few days and the bank charges you a fee, maybe $25, but reports nothing to the bureau. Your score's fine. But once you cross 30 days late, it comes down hard. One slip like that can cost you around 100 points, sometimes more. And here's the brutal part. The higher your score was, the harder it falls. Someone at 800 loses more than someone at 670. And that mark sits on your US report for 7 years. It doesn't burn off in a month like a usage snapshot. 7 years. So the one rule that matters here, set autopay for at least the minimum, not for your score, but so you never once cross that line. And right about now you're thinking, fine, I'll learn these rules and I'm safe. But the rules are being rewritten as we speak. Late in 2025, FICO rolled out new models that, for the first time, factor in pay later plans. The buy now, pay later stuff, Klarna, Affirm. Course sellers are screaming that this changes everything. The truth is duller. FICO ran its own study and admitted that for more than 85% of people, the effect lands within 10 points either way. Basically nothing. But the principle matters. What the system couldn't see before, it sees now. The second change is nastier. In the US, there was a rule that kept medical debt off credit reports. In July of 2025, a federal court struck it down, so a protection people had just been handed was quietly taken back. Some of the bureau's own easing stayed. Small paid medical bills still don't show. But the shield as a whole is gone. Notice the pattern? When a rule favors the banks, it goes in fast. When it favors you, it lasts right up until the first court date. One last trap for the advanced players. You figured out the snapshot is what counts, so you decide to outsmart it. I'll spend, pay it off mid-month, spend again. So the card's clean by statement day. Sounds smart, right? It's called credit cycling, and it's the fastest way to get yourself frozen. When you run your whole limit around in circles several times a month, to the bank it looks like either money laundering or someone desperate, plugging one hole with another. Some banks start holding your payments for a few days. Some just close the card. And a closed card, like we said, ruins your snapshot instantly. The right move is the opposite, and it's boring. Short on limit, don't spin it in circles. Ask the bank to raise it. More limit on the same spending means a lower usage percentage and a cleaner snapshot. Same result, but now the system sees a reliable customer, not a panicking one. Let's put it all into one short set. The rules you should have been handed from the start. Pay before the statement closes, not by the due date. Keep your usage in the single digits, but not at 0. Don't close your oldest card. Paying off debt is fine and worth it. Just don't panic at the temporary dip. Need more limit? Ask, don't cycle. And never, under any circumstances, cross the 30-day late line. And you know the most honest part? Not one of these rules makes you actually richer or poorer. You spend the same money. You're the same person. The only thing that changes is how a computer saw you on one specific day. Because your credit score was never a measure of whether you're a good person. It's the bank's bet on how much it can pull from you without risk. And on a big US mortgage, that bet is real money. The gap between a low score and a high one easily turns into over $100,000 in extra interest across the life of the loan. Same house, same money out of your pocket. If this lifted some guilt that got quietly pinned on you, hit like and subscribe. Next, we'll break down another system that's decided you're someone other than who you think you are.